Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this Performance Center 1260 What's New webinar. My name is Eliza Salomon, and I will be hosting today's event. Joining me today as presenters are Cyrus Manushoyan, Load Runner and Performance Center Product Manager, and Hila Levy, Load Runner and Performance Center Functional Architect. Cyrus will walk you through the Load Runner highlights and Performance Center 1260 new features detailed overview, and Hila will run the Performance Center 1260 new features live demo. We'll finalize our webinar with a review of our customer programs and the coming webinars. Before we begin, I'd like to encourage you to submit questions and comments during our event. To do so, just type your question or comment in the question box below the slides and submit. We have a Q&A session at the end of the event, and we'll answer as many questions as we are able to during the time. The session's recording, slide deck, and the Q&A file will be available for download, and we'll send you the link in a few days. And a reminder that you can maximize your screen by clicking the double arrow button in the lower right corner of the slides. In case you are stuck with your browser view or audio, please refresh your browser. Now, let's start with Load Runner highlights and Performance Center 1260 new features overview. Cyrus, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eliza. Thanks, everyone, for joining our webinar today. We're going to walk through some of the highlights made within version 1260 of Performance Center, and following that up will be a demo from Hila Levy. So the team has worked really hard and really diligently on pushing out a fantastic release. We've kind of categorized some of the main features into different value buckets, talking about operational efficiency, DevOps, insights, customer voice, and each of them have some features that we've tied to each of those value buckets. We're going to go into each of one of those from a presentation perspective, and also you're going to see it in a demo as well. The way we're going to structure this presentation is we're going to talk a little bit about the protocol and scripting technologies, and then we're going to follow that up with the Performance Center features provided within version 1260. So we'll start with TrueClient first. So in version 1256 of Performance Center, we introduced the TrueClient browser as a tech preview. Now, in version 1260, we have released and have a fully supported version of the TrueClient browser, which is equivalent to the Firefox, Mozilla Firefox codebase of 5802. So starting in 1260, whenever you make the upgrade, you're no longer actually going to see the Mozilla Firefox browser, but instead you're going to see the TrueClient browser. And in the same scenario that TrueClient Web uses the TrueClient browser, we've also made the same change within the TrueClient native mobile protocol, which actually works with our mobile center solution. And in that case, we upgraded the Mozilla Firefox codebase from version 40 to version 50. Now, if you've made the leap a year ago from whatever version you're on with Performance Center or Load Runner to version 1255 and above, you'll notice that TrueClient added a very awesome feature called TrueClient Coded, and it was introduced in 1255. And today, in 1260, we've made some optimization and debugger improvements. Essentially, you can now benefit from expanded debugging functionality using an inspector panel. And this enables you to do detailed review of variable values used in the code. This also includes improved support for the TrueClient IE browser on the Windows 10 OS. And then we also introduced an interactive walkthrough and guidance. So whenever you're actually recording your script, or you're about to start recording your script, you can actually get some interactive walkthrough and guidance to help you actually best utilize TrueClient to its optimal performance. Now, TrueClient Coded continues to remain in tech preview, but you will see more and more enhancements made to this critical feature. Next, we're going to talk about TrueWeb. And TrueWeb is a new protocol offering focusing on the HTTP transport level. As you can see, because this is a new protocol offering, it's currently in tech preview. So whenever you do make the jump to version 1260 of LoadRunner or Performance Center or StormRunner Load, you'll actually be able to use this protocol within your environment. Let me tell you a few things about TrueWeb that really makes it unique. First of all, it's a straightforward and intuitive protocol. It uses any third-party JavaScript SDK. So this allows people that have a development background to start using some of their JavaScript, being able to use some JavaScript that they've used in previous life or in previous role. Now, some of the out-of-the-box features that come with TrueWeb are HTTP2, authentication, response bodies, parameters, and many more features. And this is exactly what we wanted to do for our first release. And what you can expect from the team is with each release of LoadRunner and Performance Center, you will see added features, added enhancements to TrueWeb. Now, when it comes to flexibility, this is really important, and it actually is something new that we've done within our realm. First of all, one of the great things that TrueWeb brings to the table is the multi-platform support. So not only can you actually script within Windows, but you can also script using Mac OS or even Linux. And on top of that, we also, as we've always supported our protocols within VueGen, we've also now been able to take advantage of IDEs for TrueWeb specifically. So you'd be able to use Atom.io as an IDE, Visual Studio Code, or even WebStorm. Now, TrueWeb actually has two flavors to it. One that everyone is going to be most common with is scripting and then executing within one of our performance testing solutions, whether that's LoadRunner, Performance Center, or StormRunner Load. The flip side to it is that it actually has a standalone component. So the standalone component allows you to script and then execute locally without the use of any load testing solution. And with that, you can imagine where this can fit. This could fit in your CIs, in your builds. So it has a lot of flexibility to what TrueWeb has today. It's going to be extremely easy to use, and a lot of people are probably going to have a really good background in JavaScript to pick this up quite easily. You'll be able to find some information on this within our online help centers, and you'd be able to download it from our ADM marketplace. Let's just talk a little bit about some of the enhancements made to some of the non-web protocols. So first of all, for any of our Java protocol users, we now support Java 9 and Java 10. We know that Java 11 just recently came out, and we're diligently working on getting that supported in an upcoming release. SAP GUI 7.5 was recently added for the SAP world. In regards to the PCOIP protocol, we've enhanced the desktop tool support with the ability to sync on bitmap timeout per step. Also, for the Oracle NCEA protocol, it now has a new runtime setting that enables connecting to one or more multiple IP addresses. So you'll be able to see that through VueGen within the runtime settings. And then also we upgraded our OpenSSL to version 110G. So why don't we go ahead and get started with some of the features of Performance Center 1260. I'll start with the analysis portion first. So one of the biggest requests that we've had over the past couple of years when it comes to running Performance Center and viewing the data live and post-run is that some end users want to actually see the data outside of Performance Center. So one of the things that the team did was they created an integration with InfluxDB, which is a time series database. And so while the test is running, and once the test is completed, that data will actually also flow into your InfluxDB instance. And once that's done, and once you do that integration, you can actually use third-party dashboarding tools to actually view the data live and post-run. So one of the first dashboards that we created and is available now is in the Grafana site. So we used Grafana as one of those third-party dashboarding tools that allows an easy integration between InfluxDB and Grafana. Now, in the world of DevOps, one of the common themes that we're having within our entire organization is about open APIs. And the team has done a really good job over the past 12 to 18 months exposing more and more APIs that are available today, that are available within Performance Center. So within 1260, 2 APIs that we added was for user authentication and creating goal-oriented scenarios. Now, hybrid lab. This is really exciting. In I believe 1256, we added support for orchestrators, and orchestrator would have been Kubernetes, orchestrating Dockerized Linux load generators. In 1260, we took that same concept and we expanded it. So now, from an orchestration perspective, we support Docker Swarm. And on top of that, we also support Dockerized load generators available on the Windows platform as well. So today, right now, you have an option between Kubernetes or Docker Swarm as an orchestrator, and you can choose between a Dockerized load generator image, whether that's a Linux OS or that's a Windows platform. Just to give you just a little context here, these are still in tech preview, so we actively ask our customers to utilize these capabilities, and please provide us with feedback once you do. Now, under the modernization, you'll notice that in 1255 through 1257, we updated the UI to My Performance Center to reflect the HPE color scheme. In 1260, we actually revamped My Performance Center as a whole and also rebranded it to the Micro Focus color scheme. So right now, what you can see are runs that have been executed, your own runs that have been executed, resources, time slots, you know, a lot of key capabilities from just the dashboard module in and of itself. But the team actually kind of created a new modular design to actually access different modules within My Performance Center. So those new modules are testing, assets, resources, applications, and reports. Now that new interface, if we start actually talking a little bit about the testing module, this is where you'll be able to upload your scripts, you'd be able to create and edit your scenarios, you'd be able to view previous runs. If you're looking at an existing scenario, you'll actually be able to see some summarized data, as well as some trending based on the number of runs on that specific scenario. So the MyPC UI has been revamped and rebranded to the Micro Focus color scheme, and we plan to make even more improvements on MyPC as well. Now, the customer voice, this one I'm really happy about, and the team actually put in a lot of effort into putting in as much of you guys in here as well. So the first thing that was added was the key capability of a goal-oriented scenario. So right now, we've added the capability to add goal-oriented scenario or goal-oriented run mode when you're creating a scenario or test within Performance Center. And this allows you, the end user, to define goals that they want to achieve. And then Performance Center automatically builds a schedule based on these goals. Those goals are defined as virtual users, hits per second, or transactions per second. And so once you define those goals, a schedule will be created for you. Reoccurring time slots. So finally, we've had a request where instead of having just one time slot and then creating a new one over and over again, we've actually been able to create reoccurring time slots. This is based on a frequency of daily or weekly, and you can create up to 30 time slots. So that could either be 30 days, meaning one day, like one every day, or it could be once a week for 30 weeks. All you need to do is just have the Performance Center admin enable reoccurring time slots, and then you'll be able to create it on a per project level. Email alerts. So email alerts are fantastic, and we have two flavors of email alerts through the administration window. One is based at the test level, and one is based at the time slot level. So I'll talk a little bit about the test one first. So when a test has started or finished, the owner, the administrator, or a set of users can actually be notified when the test has started or finished. When a test has failed, same concept applies. The owner, administrator, or end users would be able to get notified when a test has failed. At the time slot level, what we're doing here is you can get notified when a time slot has been sitting idle for N or X number of minutes. And then in regards to time slots, if a time slot has been idle for so many minutes, it will actually just release the time slot completely. So you'll be able to get those hosts and resources back from a time slot that has been sitting idle for so many minutes. Last but not least is this new capability called an entity unlocker. In many cases, there have been times where users have been locked out of something that they've been working on. Those entities could be tests or scripts or time slots, monitor profiles, analysis templates. So if they're working on something like this, they've been locked out and they have to actually go and ping the Performance Center admin to unlock it for them. The entity unlocker actually allows that same user to unlock that entity on their own. So in this case, what the end user would do is they have a test that they're working on, and if it's locked, they'd log back into PC, and they would be able to actually unlock the test that they were working on previously that was locked, and they would be able to continue working on it. So this is just that example of what that looks like, and they would just be able to click unlock on that entity. A couple of decisions that we made for 1260 and going forward. One of the first things is that we actually have an initiative in place to rename Performance Center. So we actually did a soft renaming within version 1260. So if you are familiar with our online help center, when you go to the main Performance Center help site, you'll actually see LoadRunner Enterprise in parentheses. And then from an actual solution perspective within Performance Center, when you go to the My PC and My PC admin login page and the My PC and My PC admin about pages, you'll actually see LoadRunner Enterprise beneath Performance Center 1260. So this is where you actually start to see the renaming within version 1260 today and whenever you do make that upgrade. But we actually do have an initiative that's much longer term that you will see Performance Center go away and it'll be renamed to LoadRunner Enterprise throughout the entire solution. Last but not least, network virtualization is now included in LoadRunner and Performance Center 1260. So If you're familiar with this capability, today, when you upgrade to LoadRunner and Performance Center 1260, you'll be able to take advantage of network emulation and the NV Insights report at no additional charge, but the network capture capability will no longer be included. So if you're running a test and you want to apply network emulation to your test, that'll be applied while your test is running to the virtual users. And then if you select NV Insights report, then what will happen is you'll get the Insights report post-run. But we also have the NV Analytics or Insights report that also comes with ViewGen. So whenever you do the full install, you also get that key capability at no additional charge as well. Now, just from an installation and upgrade perspective, 1260 is considered a major release, which will require to have all components upgraded. So from the ALM platform server, if you're upgrading from a version of ALM 12.5x or earlier, you'll have to uninstall that existing version and then install ALM 1260. Since Performance Center 1260 is actually distributed as a full installation. So just make sure that you understand it's not a patch, it is a full installation. So when it comes to the Performance Center server, if you're running 1250 or later, then you can upgrade to 1260 without having to uninstall the previous version. But if you are running a PC server with version 1250 or earlier, meaning maybe you're in the 1202 or 1200, then you need to uninstall the PC server and then install 1260. From a PC host perspective, so think of this as your controllers, your data processors, your load generators. If they are on 1255 or later, then you can upgrade to 1260 without having to uninstall the previous version. But if you're running 1255, if you're running earlier than 1255, then you need to uninstall those components and install 1260. Projects, the lab project, site admin schemas are required to be upgraded for version 1260. So now I'm actually going to hand it over to Illa, and she's going to do a demo of 1260. Illa, it's on you.
Thank you very much, Cyrus. Hello, everybody, and good morning. Thank you for joining this session. So I've prepared an end-to-end demo with all the new capabilities that we've entered into version 1260. So we're going to start by taking a look at the new, not so new, web administration and see what we've added there. Okay, so of course you can take a look at the dashboard and the new color scheme and new look and feel. There is a new view called Analysis Server. Okay, in here we can define the integration with InfluxDB, an open source time series database which provides very good input-output capabilities and has a great storage efficiency. This means that all the data from all controllers is stored in one centralized place, giving you the ability to easily access post-run data and also view PC data using third-party dashboards such as Grafana. And we'll see how it looks later on. So I'm just defining this integration, a new connection with InfluxDB. Okay. Of course, the database name, username, and password. If there is proxy authentication, I'm defining it here. And once I see the test connection has succeeded, I'm just assigning project, of course, to this new database connection and saving. I can, of course, define few databases connections for different projects. Okay, so the orchestration, of course, it is not new, introduced in 1256. So we're now supporting Swarm Orchestrator on top of Kubernetes. Okay, so similar to the definition of Kubernetes, I'm just entering the server URL and the orchestrator name. The token field, this is just for Kubernetes, not needed for Storm. API version, this is the Swarm API version. In case we are upgrading Swarm, so this API version needs to be updated. We can define, of course, also external storage. I'm assigning images. Note that we're now supporting also window load generator images. Okay, I have the ability to use also monitoring, Prometheus monitoring solution for the Swarm containers. And same as before, assigning projects. So I can use containers in these projects and saving this orchestrator. Okay, the next new view is the alerts. Okay, here we can create email alert templates and also assign it to specific projects. Of course, you will need to configure mail server settings in ALM. So we can define alerts for test or time slots, for test on the test start, finish, or on test failure, and just choosing which alert, if it's just one or few of them I want to set. I'm setting, of course, who I want to send the alert to, if it's the owner, the admin, or I'm just typing other email addresses. In the alert text, the administrator can also add some kind of default text that he wants to be sent out with this email alert. So we're switching to the time slots. Here I can define alerts for idle time slots. I can edit the duration of a time slot being idle before sending the alerts. Okay, same as in the test, I'm choosing who to send the alert to, and I can add my own text. For example, be aware that if you will not start the test, this time slot might be released, and we will see what is the option, how we are enabling the option to release a time slot. This is the next checkbox. Okay, very powerful option. So here we are deciding if we want to automatically release a time slot if it was idle for this predefined time frame. Okay, again, I'm assigning projects for this alert template. And of course, I can create many templates for different projects. Okay. So the last capability I want to show you in the admin level, okay, is the recurrent time slot. So in order for it to be visible in the performance and the project, the administrator needs to enable it from here, from the project view per project. Okay, so let's log in to my performance center and take a look what's new there. So as you can see, we've rebranded everything also to the Micro Focus colors and the style guide. You can see also the new look and feel of the dashboard page. Okay, another new capabilities we've added here is the ability to switch between projects without the need to log out, same as it exists in ALM. So I'm switching to automation project, pressing OK, and I'm switched to this project. Okay, at the top, we have the new navigation model. Okay, all the views are modeled to logical sections of testing, assets, resources, and applications. Okay, we also have all kinds of shortcuts that we'll see later on. Let's enter the time slots view. Okay, and let's create a new time slot. Okay, so for this project, we have enabled the recurrent feature, as we've seen before in the administration. So we have this new button that is added for creating recurrent time slot. The UI is similar to the Outlook UI. I can define if I want a daily or a weekly recurrency. Okay, and I can also, of course, set the number of occurrences. Okay, once I will approve it, and submit the time slot. We're doing, of course, is some kind of calculation. You will get a summary of the reservation where you will be able to see if you had success or failure in the entire reservation you wanted to make. Okay, so we did 4 occurrences, weekly occurrences. Let's take a look that we see that every week we have this time slot 4 times. Okay, we can, of course, also delete time slot if it's 1 occurrence or the entire series of the time slot. You can decide once you're pressing the release which option. Okay, let's just delete 1 occurrence. Okay, by pressing cancel, we see that this occurrence has been deleted, but all the others still remain. Okay, so from the new navigation panel, we have a quick link, for creating a new test. Okay, so let's create a new test from here. Okay, on the bottom, we can see all the workload and scheduler types. You can already see that we have a new scheduler called GoalOriented. Let's just assign also a test set and a test folder. And then we will choose the goal-oriented scheduler type. So this feature exists already in LoadRunner, and now we've implemented it in PC. Very similar implementation. Okay, so once I chose this scheduler, take a look at the bottom part of the scheduler, and you can see that now it's called, okay, this is a goal scheduler. We can choose the goal definition if it's for V users, hits per second, or transactions per second. Okay, in LoadRunner, the only difference is that we are also supporting transaction response time and pages per minute. So once you define your goals you want your test to achieve, Performance Center automatically builds a scheduler for you based on these goals. Okay, let's move on and take a look at the test management screen. Very new look and feel. On the left, we see all the tests and scripts tree. And on the right, the list of entities according to the folder we are focused on the tree. Okay, if we're in the subject, we can see the entire sets of the script and test. We can get a preview panel on the right. Okay, we've added also filtering capabilities for the tree if you want to see just the scripts or just the tests. Okay, also on the grid level, we've added many UI capabilities. On right-click, you have all sorts of sorting, filtering, and grouping options. Okay, let's also switch to the Runs tab. I can filter the grid according to test set and also manage the test set tree from this location. Each column also enables advanced filtering capability just by clicking the filter sign, see if they contains, and we start with. And also by focusing an entity on the grid, I get a preview on the right of the test run. Okay, let's switch back to the test grid and focus on the test in the tree. When I'm selecting a test in the tree, I will see the entire summary panel of the test, the attachments, the runs, the relations. Okay, so let's switch to another test and edit it. Okay, the demo test. Okay, so note that we do not open a new tab for every entity that we are editing, as it was in previous versions. Okay, however, we did add a summary panel at the top of the screen. There you can see all the last visited views and just very quickly navigate back to them. Here I'm navigated back to the goal-oriented test and navigate back to my last visited, which is the demo test. Okay, so in the demo test, next I want to show you the Docker implementation. So let's select load generator. It opens the assign LGs window. This is the new window from 1256. And if I've assigned an orchestrator, I will see the elastic options. I'm assigning Dockers to the groups. Okay, so once I have my Docker load generators, let's run the test. Okay, in the initialization phase, we can see that the Docker containers are being created and the test starts. Okay, this is the online screen. Note we keep enhancing it all the time with new capabilities and much better user experience each version. So in 1260, we can now view up to 12 graphs at a time. This is opposed to only 6 in the previous versions. Okay, simply just by clicking on the graphs, I can add them. I can also control the graph layout. Okay, this is a new button also in the toolbar. Let's switch back to the former layout. Okay, we've also added the ability from the toolbar to expand the entire graph section. So you can have even far more better resolution to view the graph. We have global configuration settings, okay, for options that we want to control from the entire graph, such as time display, in addition to global filtering. Okay. Additional options we've also added in the toolbar is the granularity options. So first of all, you see on the right that we have options to view the last 3 minutes, 10 minutes, last hour, or the entire test. You can just switch between them, and of course, it affects the entire sets of graphs. On the left, we also have a timeline view, timeline summary view. Okay, we can also control the timeline view and the granularity from there. Okay, you can just use the slides in order to focus on a selected time period. And you can see that the selected time period change is made to all the graphs. Okay, but of course, the data that you're seeing there in the timeline view is per specific graph you've selected. Okay, so we're switching now to see the view of Grafana. So as mentioned before, by configuring external InfluxDB, we can integrate with third-party dashboards such as Grafana to display the online data. So this is the online data of the test I'm currently running in Performance Center. So the information, how to set up this integration and the tips on what to do in Grafana, we've published in the blog in our community. You're welcome to go and check it out and use it. Going back to Performance Center, my test has ended, and I'm opening the run results. Okay, so this view also is partly new and enhanced. So first of all, I can see all my graphs in the dashboard, the offline graphs. I have also the tabs where I can see all of my results. I can see my event log. I can see my HTML report, the embedded HTML report. If I have additional reports, such as network virtualization, I will also have this tab enabled, so I can view everything from here. We just wanted to aggregate all the run results in one dedicated place. Okay, so we went back to this dashboard. And from the Performance Center start page, we also have all the last runs, and we have quick links from here to view the results, and of course the HTML report as well. So if you remember before, I defined an alert for test finish. So this is how it looks like. This is the email I received once the test is finished, the name of the test and the run. Of course, also what is the Timeslot ID, and we've also added additional statistics for the run that you can receive the minute the test is finished before you're logging in and taking a more deep dive in the HTML report. Last feature is the entity unlocker. So in case an entity was locked by the same user, since it is held by another session, so now you have an ability to download the entity unlocker tool, either from this pop-up view you've seen here. Okay, so I'm just downloading it for here. Another option is also to download this from the download application. We have the quick link from our navigation bar. You can also download this from here. So I simply need to log into this application, and I will get a set of all the locked entities. The entities are tests, scripts, time slots, monitor profiles, or analysis templates. I'm simply pressing unlock. Okay, let's close it. This is the test that was locked before, and we can see that now I can edit it again. Okay, so this concludes the demo session. So we got some questions during the session that I want maybe to answer a few of them now. Okay, so let's take a look. Which browser are supported for my Performance Center, our new web offering? So of course for Windows, Google Chrome, this is the recommended. We're still supporting also IE 11, Firefox, and Safari. Okay. Another mentioning for the installation part, if it's possible to deploy PC 1260 with older ALM versions. So the answer is no. You need to install PC 1260 only with ALM 1260, and it also requires upgrade of your projects. Regarding the recurrent time slots, can we use the recurrent time slots for maintenance time slots? So for that, the answer is currently no. The recurrent time slot is available only for performance tests at the moment. Question regarding the use of Grafana. Can we use it with the online data stored on the controllers in FluxDB? So the answer for is that is technically it is doable, but it is not recommended nor supported by us. We recommend using an external InfluxDB server, same as I showed you that we are configuring in the administration view, and then configure Grafana on top of it. Mentioning again that the configuration also of Grafana, this is in our community. We wrote a blog by Ormorom that defines all the steps to do that. Okay. Again, for the entity unlocker, so it can only clear locks that were done for the same user. And I mentioned again, you do not need now the site administration to do it. The user can download this tool to his own PC and then clears locks and sessions on demand. Let's see if we have another questions. Okay, so what is needed for implementing the Dockerized load generators on Windows? So first of all, we should have either Kubernetes or Docker Swarm to orchestrate the provision and deprovision, and download the Docker images from the Docker Hub. There is also very detailed documentation about it in Performance Center Help. And in addition, the R&D team is available to advise anyone who wants to implement it. So just contact us in case such assistance is required. Okay, so by that, I'm switching back to Aliza.
Thank you very much, Cyrus and Hila. And just before we finish, let me go over some of the programs where you can work with us during the different stages of Performance Center release lifecycle. So we have three major programs. The Design Partner Program, running on early stage of development for review and feedback on the planned new features. We have the Beta Program, which you run it before each release. It gives you the opportunity to be exposed to the coming release on its early stage, to test it on your environment, and to share your feedback with us. And the Early Adopters Program, right after the public release, we implement the new version with several customers for feedback and future release requests. We've already started the Performance Center 1260 Early Adopters, and we invite you to join. If you would like to please send us an email to plv_cost@microfocus.com. You have the email address here in the slide, and you will get it with our other webinar materials later on. We'd like also to share with you our next webinars. So we'll have the Load Runner 1260 What's New webinar. Next webinar will be dedicated to the controller command line interface, export to Grafana features, and its integration into a Jenkins job. And we'll have also the Performance Center configuration with SSL webinar. Please stay tuned. We'll soon keep you updated for the webinar dates. Please note that a replay of today's event, plus a PDF copy of the slides and the Q&A file, will be available on demand, and we invite you to share them with your colleagues. Thank you very much for attending the webinar today. We hope you found it interesting and beneficial. Have a great day, and thanks for joining.